All right. Hello, everyone. And that's embarrassing. Welcome to today's stream. Apparently, I hit live a little early. But we are going to dive into creating a GPT from scratch. So we've got our sales letter all lined up. We have our actual offer all created and done. And of course, if you're just tuning in or you haven't seen any of the other streams, don't worry. We'll show how to start from scratch. And I have this complete GPT template. I've built quite a few of these using this template. So you can essentially take what we're going to work on and create today and use it as a framework and template for building moving forward. And so any sort of digital product you already have or any sort of digital product idea, you're going to be able to turn into a GPT. I have quite a few of these already. Of course, in this series, I've been using the Rev Alpha Canvas. And then I actually have some other ones that are just about ready to launch, including this one, which is the one-page sales letter. And as a shameless plug, quick preview, I don't share this kind of stuff on YouTube, but inside my membership site, I would actually open up my Google Sheet and show you the entire backend of how I build and train AI using Google Sheets. It's actually pretty cool. There's all these little drop downs here with lots of information. I even give Google Sheets like a full wireframe of the offer. But today we're going to keep things simple and you're going to see how you can set up your first GPT before you start getting advanced and getting into top tier. And that's in GPT's words, not mine. I do ask something that's cool is you can always ask GPT, hey, how does this compare to the other GPTs people have built in my niche or industry? And it will give you a brutally honest score. I started pretty low, but I think now I'm in the 80 or 90%. I think if you get 80 or 90%, you're probably good to go. So let me know where you're tuning in from. Let me know where you're tuning in from if you're joining live in the if you're joining the live stream, and of course if you are joining from the or watching from the replay, go ahead and just comment below with any of your questions. I'm a little frazzled because I apparently clicked the wrong button, so y'all saw me taking a deep breath and praying before we got started. So there we go. If you want to know what I do right before I hit record. So before we dive into everything, I just want to give a quick shout out and thank you to today's sponsor, sponsoring this entire series, Go High Level. This is an example of a free funnel template you can get when you join via our link for a 30-day free trial. You get a landing page, sales page, upsell, and then some cool automations. We have a simple newsletter funnel to help you actually start growing your list. And so you can check out the in the description where you can learn more about a little bit more about Go High Level, all-in-one marketing platform for everything you need to run your digital business, even scheduling content. And then we have a ton of other bonuses and systems for you to really make it an all-in-one solution so you get the best software for this type of business model and you get all of the strategy and community support as well. So let's go ahead and jump into what the heck a GPT is and how it's actually easier than you think thanks to a little court case. I was supposed to say that in the first 30 seconds to create a better hook for YouTube, but there you go. If I was recording this, I'd have to redo that entire section because I forgot the hook, but there you go. All right. So all a GPT is, I'll just show you the back end of what creating a GPT looks like. So when you ship a GPT, you send a link to your customers and then they get something that looks like this inside of their own GPT account. So your customers can use the free version of ChatGPT to use your GPT. I'm going to say GPT way too much. Or AI assistant, right? You're going to call this a AI assistant. It's the new sexy term or whatever. It's taking all our jobs quite literally. And so this is what people see when we're all said and done. So this is it. You do so much work on the back end, right? People will never see, but when everything's said and done, this is what people see. And so the way you create, the free version of GPT for your customers allows them to use this. So even if they're like, oh, I like using Claude or Grok or whatever else, it is, you could always say, yeah, but ChatGPT is free and you can use the free version of GPT to use my GPT. So there's no reason, there's no friction, which is really cool. I think eventually we're going to have to make these for multiple AIs, but for now, ChatGPT is kind of like the Coca-Cola of AIs. It might not always be the best this month, but it's the most popular and well-known, and so it's what people are going to be most comfortable with. However, I do want to note that if you want to create these, you do need to be on the $20 a month price plan for ChatGPT. And really, if you're trying to grow a business, you should be paying for GPT. The difference in quality is staggering. It really does make a difference when you can go to the thinking model versus the instant or auto, because there's a lot of restrictions here. And boy, do I miss the multiple drop downs. I know why they did it, but I do miss those. So to create a GPT inside of your ChatGPT account, of course, you need to be on the Plus plan. I don't pay for Pro. I don't think it's $200 worth for me and my business yet. But you can click on the left-hand side here, GPTs, and you'll see that there's a marketplace of them. Now, I don't recommend putting them in the marketplace. It's not really clear how you make money from putting these on the marketplace. There's supposed to be like some kickback for usage, but I have yet to find something that's concrete enough to say, yeah, you should put this on the market. So we're not going to share this publicly. We're only going to share it with people who've paid us, right? And so you can go ahead and click on My GPTs up here. And of course, you'll have a list of the ones you've created. So you can see here, I've created a couple. Really? I have more? No, no, I don't. So you can see here, I've created a couple. I delete a lot. There's not really, so far, there's no limit on how many you can make. And so you can go from creating something in 5 to 10 minutes, which is what this Launch Kit beta is, to spending weeks, which is what my RevX is. I'm really excited to be launching that for you guys. Hopefully next month it'll finally be done. But I'm going to use the one-page sales letter as an example here. So I'll go ahead and click to, whoops, I clicked on it instead of click to edit my GPTs. So I'll go ahead and click to edit the GPT. And so this is what it looks like on the back end when you're creating this for people. And so you can see here on the right-hand side, there's a preview of what it will look like for your customers. And then on the left-hand side, we have this create, and then we have this configure. Do not use this create. I don't know what GPT was thinking, but this create tab here is supposed to help you in creating the GPT. So if you're like doing this from scratch, you don't have a video like this, you would be trying to figure out like, what should I include? What should I add? What kinds of things do you need to be successful? And for some reason, this chat's memory is terrible. It clears out randomly. The first time I used it, I was chatting away, left, came back the next day, and for some reason, all of our chat history was gone. So the ideas that were in there were completely gone. So I would use normal GPT to create the GPT, not the create chat in here. I'm not sure what funkiness is going on there. I just find the responses in here aren't very good. I'm not sure why. So under configure, what we're going to need to do is we can give it a logo. GPT can generate this for you. It's going to stink, but it's better than nothing. You'll give your GPT a name, a quick description. So you can see this is the description that shows up here. This is probably going to be the tagline or unique edge or unique selling proposition of your offer. No big deal. And then we have the hard part, right? So then we have the instructions. So this is all the instructions. I'm going very fast so you don't screen. So pirates don't screenshot. And then we have our conversation starters. So you can see here the first 4 show up. So start my sales letter, write my headline, and that's what's showing up here. And I'll get to where you can put those instructions for GPT in a moment. And then the key to all of this working, like this is where GPTs are bottom tier, just like I came up with this in 5 minutes and wow, this gives me awesome responses. I can't believe this creator gave this away for, $50. And that is the knowledge base. So what you can do is you can upload documents, PDFs, spreadsheets, and all of that information is available to this specific GPT. And no, it will not reveal the contents of this to your customers. So something that I'm really excited about, and something that's always been the biggest gripe with digital products. If I jump over to one of my examples, like for example, the sales funnel organizer here. Also, I hate that every time I open something, Google's trying to shove Gemini down my throat. It is the most useless AI I have seen thus far. It can't even find files. Basic search is still better than Gemini, for Google Drive at least. And so, I would sell this. This is a digital product, actually sold, probably still sells. I should know that. Really should know that. And this started at, I think, $3, and now it's like $4.95 or something. So it's really cool because you give a lot of value here, right? For $5, you go, okay, you have everything. And of course, this was created before AI. But the problem is, what's to stop, I don't know, another creator from going, oh, that's cool. Why don't I just rename this, take out all references to Jason and Act Marketing, and sell it myself? And the answer is pretty much nothing. That's like the biggest downside with digital products. Digital products are awesome because you can create it once, sell it on autopilot. The whole thing's like 95% automated, 99%. But then other people can just like steal it and copy it. And if you go to places like, we were using this as an example the other day, but if you go to places like Create Market, and what did I search? I just searched email sales planner. If you go through these, you'll see that there are a lot of offers that wind up looking almost the same. Etsy's actually worse with copycats, and you can't really tell whose idea was original, but you look at like 5 to 10 of these, and then they all start to look the same. So Etsy or Creative Market, just search like sales template or email planner or social media, graphic pack or something like that. And the, of course, issue is it's really easy for people to copy. So there's a whole niche of YouTube that teaches people to just look up random like email content planner, click on the most popular one, and then literally just copy it, right? So even with this downside, I still think it's awesome to create digital products, because as a content creator, you overcome the biggest problem with selling digital products, and that's being generic. If someone watches a couple of your videos, reads a couple of your posts, follows you for a few months, they're going to buy your email planner. They're not going to come over to Create Market or what am I on now? Etsy, and just click a random one. But what's awesome with GPT now is we are protected from that. I can take all of my intellectual knowledge and stick it in here and then essentially protect it. And of course, we do have to tell GPT, don't share my stuff, right? So Sight Unseen, hello from Ohio. Awesome to have you back. I think First Marketing was letting us know that you were tuning in on your TV. So building some GPTs here. So that does it for the basics of, what the backend looks like for a GPT: name, unique selling proposition, all your instructions, and your basic conversation starters, and then your knowledge, your knowledge files. I wonder if I should go through the knowledge files now. Should we do them now? We're going to do the knowledge. Hopefully I can remember to do the knowledge files later, because there's a little legal ruling that is awesome for us as creators, but I would say is definitely a moral gray area. But again, as Christian entrepreneur, I always make sure that I tell you what's legally okay, and then, I'll add my 2 cents of, I think it's a gray area, but I digress. So let's go ahead and actually build one from scratch, and I'm going to use the offer we've been using in this series. So when you want to create a GPT from scratch, the first step, of course, is understanding what is the final. You always want to begin with the end in mind, right? So you always want to think of, okay, if someone's chatting with my AI assistant, what is the end result that they need? Like, what does it physically look like? Am I helping them, write a script that they're going to say? Am I helping them create a graphic that they're going to use? Am I helping them, fill out a calendar, which is what we're doing? And so when you begin with the end in mind, yeah, that's Stephen Covey, the 7 Habits of Highly Effective People, the creation of the GPT becomes a lot easier. So in our example here, I want to create a GPT to help people fill out their promotion calendar for their email list, right? And so what's really cool is we can take a lot of our knowledge and have AI do the thinking for our customers, because people don't want to think anymore. I mean, AI has just been sold as this like magic bullet, and for better or worse, right now more worse, people think it can do more than it can actually do, but it can do more than people believe it can. And so the way both of those are true is once you start learning to use AI, you realize that it's a great augmentation. It's an Iron Man suit, so to speak. It's not an autonomous, robot. I think that's the best way to put it. So if you treat it like a suit that's enhancing you and what you do, you're going to find great results. If you try and treat it like something that's going to go do all the work for you, you're going to be gravely disappointed. So for creating our GPT, I'm going to, of course, I have a template here, but I realize that I need to open up 2 tabs. So let's go ahead and duplicate here. So I'm going to have 2. So I'm going to create a new GPT, and we're going to go ahead and build this thing from scratch. Just let me know what questions pop up along the way. Now I'm going to actually call our GPT the exact same thing as our offer here. And so awesome to see you think first. So I'm going to jump down to 3 here. So I'll name our GPT 30-day email profit planner. Now, when it comes to creating GPTs, obviously it's easier if you already have a template or process, but even if you don't, you can go ahead and, you can easily create one from scratch. And so for our tagline here, I'm going to go ahead and just go to your whatever marketing you have. If you have one, just go ahead and grab that. You'll see that we're just using the exact same copy we've already created. And then for the image, you can actually use DALL-E to create the image for you. It's not going to look all that great, but we'll go through that later on. And so now what we want to do is I'm going to work off this 30-day email profit planner that we have and create a GPT, what I call a SOAP, or standard operating procedure. So think of it as we are training a new employee. So they're called AI assistants because they do work for us. And so what we need is we need to give it an objective. We're going to give it a tone to tell it how to speak to our users, some foundation, tell it, hey, this is the files you have access to, here's how to use them. There's a big ridiculous legal, I can't call it a loophole because it's just legal to do. It's insane, but this is going to save you so much time. It's a super gray area, but it's going to save you so much time with this foundation section. Then, of course, you give it the steps. Now, I like giving AI the steps to go through to create something so it doesn't just go off the rails. And then we have a bunch of procedures and constraints to essentially make sure AI stays in the right direction. And of course, this will be, everything you're seeing here is available inside the template if you decide to check out the 30-day free trial and, of course, all the bonuses that come with it. So I'm going to jump over to GPT, and I'm going to go to the thread that I've been developing the product. So if you're starting for the first time and you're like, okay, the AI has no idea what my product is, what my idea is, all you need to do is just drop in, hey, I want to make a GPT for these people to help them write a sales letter, write an email script, create an email calendar, right? Or create a diet plan, or come up with 10 icebreaker questions for their first dates that actually matches their personality, right? Like you can get really specific. And so because I've been using the same thread to develop the product and write the sales copy, AI has all that context now. I think GPT-5 still has a memory. And so what I'm going to do is all I need to do is say, please create my GPT SOAP. So I'm just going to give it the I'm just going to give it the template here, and then it's going to take all the information it has. And again, if you don't have that yet, you can give it some very basic info. In fact, if we have time at the end, someone can drop their niche in and we can just build one pretty much from scratch. And so you can see here, now we have, actually, now that I've said that, let me save the duplicate just in case we do that. All right, there we go. So now we have the objective. So ChatGPT SOAP, 30-day email planner. So first the objective says act as. So we essentially tell it what its role is. So act as a copywriting partner and funnel strategist, guiding Scott. By the way, Scott is my actual ideal customer. So GPT always writes instructions for Scott. So I try and imagine an actual person whenever I'm creating this. And hopefully that shows in the products and content I create for you guys. So guiding Scott, step-by-step through the email planner system, help him and users transform daily prompts into polished emails, nurture sequences and conversion campaigns that build trust, drive engagement, and generate automated digital product sales. Okay, awesome. There's some personal stuff in here, like I would take out Scott, act marketing. I would just say help users. It's getting a little too personal for me, but that's okay. And then the tone, we can be supportive, direct and actionable. Then it pulls in some copywriters. This is a crazy hack. We'll get to in the foundation section. And then in the foundation section, we essentially list out, hey, these are all the files I'm going to give you that you have reference to. And again, we'll get to the files in a moment. I know I keep talking about that, but this part is just crazy what you can do. And then workflow, it essentially goes through, okay, what are the steps we need to go through to help him or her create the email calendar? And then, of course, we have workflow procedures. And so this is kind of like where, you start a job and they give you this long, boring list of things you aren't supposed to say or do, on the job, or how you're supposed to talk to customers. Kind of like worked at a hotel. You're never supposed to say but at a hotel. You only say and, right? Little weird things like that. And so the workflow procedures here is just a way to make sure that AI interacts and engages with the user of your GPT in a way that's constructive and doesn't completely go off the rails. For the most part, you can just copy what you see here. I found that it's pretty standard. I built a couple of these and I wind up saying kind of the same thing. And then constraints is essentially all the stuff you don't want it to do. And so the most important constraint is telling your GPT, don't share directly the information in the documents. And as you'll see in a moment, another constraint that I've recently learned you need to add is do not copy any of the examples in the documents. Only use for reference and inspiration. That's key. So then we have our sample workflows. And so this is just gives the GPT ideas for how to go through working with the user. And then, of course, we have our starters: build, hooks, story, CTA, and sequence. And so this is going to be what shows up when someone first creates their GPT. Now, I know this is a lot. This is definitely overwhelming at first. So all we need to do is go section by section and start swapping out things. So I'm going to jump back over to our example here. I think we can zoom in. I don't think we need the sidebar for now. Let's go 150. I think that's good enough. And so act as a structured. So guiding users, just say users, and help users. There we go. So that's all we need. This is what we're doing. Okay, cool. So we're going to go back to our, back to our example here, tone. So this tone, tone is essentially telling the AI how to interact with the user. So for the most part, you're going to be supportive, direct, and actionable. That's pretty generic, right? But you can tell the GPT to be, sarcastic or be very analytical in its responses, or you say in the tone, be very what's the word, ginger, be very ginger in your replies, your responses, because this is a new person, or over explain when you want to make a change. Always be constructive. Or you could just have the AI be rude. I think Grok has a sassy mode or something like that, where it like talks back to you. But you're probably not going to do that to your customers. But we just want to make sure that if we're creating a GPT that's more advanced, we say, hey, have a more analytical and direct tone. If you're creating a GPT for people who are just getting started, let's be more direct and supportive, and be ginger in our feedback and criticism, right? Especially if you're in the relationship niche, and maybe you're, let's go back to that example of, 5 icebreaker lines for your first date. I haven't had one of those in 15 years, but the funny thing about it would be you wouldn't want the AI to be really critical, because this is probably a little vulnerable for people, right? So you probably want the AI to be a little more coddling and overly cautious versus, when you're analyzing sales numbers, there's no need to be, overly warm or cautious. Like, be cold and direct. Your sales aren't working. Here's how to fix it, type of thing. Probably spent way too much time on that. But here's the next part that's really, really cool. So if you don't have a bunch of files to share with GPT, we'll get to the cool file thing in a moment. What you can do is you can tell it to talk like, or write like, or create like a famous person. So because we're helping people write emails, I'm telling it Carlton, Halbert, Kennedy. And so John Carlton, Gary Halbert, Dan Kennedy, these are all really successful direct response copywriters. Dan Kennedy, you may have heard of, because he did a big deal with Russell Brunson a few years back. But most people haven't heard of, Halbert, Carlton, let alone like Ogilvy or Eugene Schwartz, or going back even further, John Caples. Like, those are all really successful and famous direct response marketers. But unless you've tried to study where sales copywriting came from and who actually figured all of the sales psychology out, you probably never would have heard of those names. And that's going to be true for your niche or industry. You're going to know names, whether it's a book, whether it's an author or an actual person that, I shouldn't be mean to authors, whether it's an author who wrote a book that was helpful, or someone who is a pioneer or actually famous in your niche. They don't necessarily have to be an author. They just have to be well known in your niche. You can add their names here and tell AI what you want to emulate from them. And it's completely legal. Kind of a gray area in my opinion, but that's kind of the world we live in now. So I can, in some of the more advanced, like for example, this one-page, sales letter template that I have in here, I actually use different copywriters for different parts of the sales letter. So I'll come in here and say, do the headline like Gary Halbert and John Caples, but do the bullet points like Kennedy and Jay Abram. And so instead of having this giant list of this is how to write bullets, or this is how to write a headline, I can simply say, do this in this guy style, do this in that gal style. And all of a sudden, AI can go ahead and just emulate those. And you don't have to do any research. AI has all that information. It stole it already. So you might as well use it. So that's something that's really cool, because it's going to save you a lot of time with this next part, which is foundation. And of course, if you're not quite sure, you can always just ask AI, hey, I want a list of really successful or experts in this niche or this industry or this way and that way. And then you can ask it, okay, what's the difference in copywriting style between a Halbert or Kennedy? Or what's the difference in, pickup advice versus I don't know anyone in the dating niche. That example fell apart. But if that doesn't make sense, just go ahead and let me know. I got to slow down my talking. So the next step is foundation. This is the one where you take a mid-level GPT, just like I threw this together in 10 minutes, to, oh my gosh, this gives amazing answers. I cannot believe this can do that. And that's going to be your foundation. And so if we hop over here, I'm going to do this first. Oops, I'm going to do this first. Because I'm not going to have any, I'm not going to launch with any of this. But if we hop over to, creating your GPT, you'll see there's this knowledge base where you can upload files. And this is where things get a little tricky, because when I was preparing this for you guys, I remembered there's actually a legal case that gives us precedent to pretty much steal everybody else's stuff. It's wild. It's absolutely wild. So I realize this is YouTube. I shouldn't be saying like, oh, steal and hack and take people's hard work, because we're all creators. But here we go. So I'd be remiss if I did not bring up the Anthropic case. So there's a little bit of legalese, but this is gonna be really important for creating your GPTs. Of course, if you have any questions, just let me know in the comments. So I got it wrong. It's Anthropic. Yeah, it's Anthropic, not OpenAI. So I vaguely remember this case, but essentially, two authors sued Anthropic, which is the makers of Claude, the top competitor to GPT, in my opinion, and essentially said, hey, they bought our books. Like, go to Barnes & Noble, if it's still around by you. They went to Barnes & Noble, they bought the books, they went back to their, top secret AI lab, they scanned all the books, and then they gave those PDF scans to their AI model Claude to train it. And so the authors were essentially saying, hey, that's not cool. And in June, so this was that's why I didn't know. Last month, that's not last month. Last month's July. So just this year, oh my gosh, breaking news. Just this year, the U.S. District Court judge granted the summary judgment in favor of Anthropic legally purchasing books and then training its AI on it. It's completely legal. So for better or worse, this is such a gray area, but for better or worse, what I'm highlighting here means as long as you buy a book legally, you purchase someone else's stuff legally, or even if you're just reading a blog post or a YouTube transcript like this from this video, as long as you obtain the content in a legal manner, you're allowed to use it to train your AI. That's wild. So so if you want to use something you read in a book, something you read in a blog post, something you saw in a YouTube video, you go to one of those sites and say, hey, give me the transcript of the YouTube video, and then you want to make a GPT based off that, it's totally legal. You totally can. We're in the era of just everybody can pirate everybody else's stuff. I say pirate with quotes, but the judge was very clear. If you steal stuff, that's still not okay. So Anthropic did apparently, sail the high seas for a little bit to probably find some books. Meta got in trouble for that as well. They hopped over there and downloaded just tons of books illegally. But as long as you obtain information there's one little asterisk. So as long as you obtain information legally, you can use it in your GPT. You can use it in your AI. So if I had the only book I have, obviously I can copy this all I want. I don't think the publishers will come after me for copying Bible passages, but let's say any book, you swap this out for any book you're thinking of. You can take pictures, you can scan it, and you can give it directly to AI. And guess what? That's legal. It's going to work. As long as the AI does not reproduce what's in the book. As long as the AI doesn't reproduce what's in the book. And so that's why under our, if I come back over here, so that's why under our constraints, come on, load. I'm going to jump down here. That's why under our constraints, we just need to add a note saying never directly, just add one here. Never directly quote any of the examples. Only use as inspiration for creating completely new content and ideas. And just like that, you can put whatever you want. You can upload whatever you want in your GPT, and it's totally legal. Now, I'm not here to tell you that that's okay, that that's right, that's, moral or ethics or whatever. I think that's a discussion for another day that will probably never end. But in terms of the letter of the law, as of June 23, 2025, you can put whatever you want in your GPT as long as you legally paid for it or you legally accessed it. So pretty much any blog post you see, any video you see that's public online, you can use it. And as long as you have this little line, never directly quote any of the examples, only use as inspiration for creating completely new content and ideas, you're good to go. You can put whatever you want in your GPT, and your GPT can read through those documents, those books, those video transcripts, you've essentially instantly trained it with this complete small data set of information that you want it to use to produce a result. And so if you don't want to go through all that work of finding blog posts, finding examples, finding emails to use, then you still have this as your backup where you can just tell AI, you can tell AI the types of famous or experts you want it to emulate. And so for our particular example here, I'm going to give it the 30-day marketing calendar doc, the legend and dropdowns, prompt library, and all prior user content. So this, of course, is just referring to the template I built on yesterday's stream. So I'm just going to literally upload this. Actually, let's go ahead and download that now. So file, download, and I'm going to download it as a Word doc. Markdown sometimes works, but Word doc is the easiest I found the easiest for and most consistent GPT can read. So I've got that in my back pocket for later. And for some reason, and oddly enough, I use the manual bullet points. I don't have any auto formatting because when you upload it to GPT, it's going to be plain text. So I just manually copy and paste the little bullet points. So you'll have access to, and so we'll speed things up now. Drop in the chat what you think of that, because that to me was wild. I remember the case was ongoing, and I was like, man, this is going to be really interesting. If the judge says, yeah, you could use anybody's book you want as long as you don't copy it. You're like, wow, that's crazy. Let me see, what am I copying here? I'm copying workflow outline, RevX canvas. Oh, it's okay. I gave it the wrong name. That's from something. That's from the. There we go. Apologies there. Okay. I'm gonna add these little bullets here. No, do not auto bullet. And just like that, we're good to go. So we've got our steps. So this is just saying, okay, what are the steps we go through helping people with their email planner? Select the prompt, generate the draft, optimize for engagement, refine and ship. And of course, you see here in Jason's full voice, don't do that. Email using the copywriters in the tone section. There we go. So you do have to read through this and make sure that it's not referring to you personally, right? Because GPT is trying to be better at tailoring its answers for you and accessing memory from your actual account. So I'll go ahead and grab our workflow procedures now. Now, of course, when you're doing this for the first time, especially if you're using our GPT, it knows it's been trained on what to do, and so that's part of why this is going to go a lot faster than usual. But hey, that's why I try and spend so much time making stuff that actually helps. And so you'll see here, each step we'll go ahead, workflow procedures, ask for missing information. We want to make sure, hey, don't just write the random email. If you think we're telling GPT, if someone doesn't give you what you need, don't make it up. Ask them for it. Use dropdowns and legends to stay consistent. So, of course, that is where in our email planner, we made some dropdowns here, which is pretty cool. So it should be able to reference those dropdowns. And I did make sure we have a plain text list of the dropdowns, because sometimes when we translate it to Google Docs, these dropdowns get lost. So where are we now? Use dropdowns. Keep outputs lean and actionable. No walls of text or filler. AI loves to over-explain stuff. And if the user uses a step, run step 3, jump straight to that. So this is something that's more advanced. We would cover that inside of our more advanced trainings, but if you have like a checklist or you have like a step list you give people along with the GPT, we essentially say, hey, when someone says run step 3, you just do that step. It's kind of like, hey, run step 3, run step 5, run step 6. And inside of our product here, if like, let's say this was numbered like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we'll change these to numbers. I don't know why it didn't number them correctly. So if someone says, run step 3, I'm just using this as an example, run step 3, then AI would know, oh, okay, create a call to action for the email or something like that. I see Think First had a comment. I'll get to that in a moment here, fixing some formatting. And we already did we didn't do our constraints, but I'll go ahead and leave these pretty much the same to users. Just take out Scott. It really wants to talk to Scott. Encourage users. I don't think the AI has ever called an actual customer Scott, but that would be funny. That would be kind of funny. Like, that's not my name. Thanks, GPT. What are you doing? And they'll be like, it's Jason's fault. And then sample workflows. This is actually something that GPT came up. This is actually something GPT came up for me. Like when I was asking, like, hey, how can I improve creating these soaps? Because I started with a version of this document that was designed for a real human, and I was like, all right, how do we change it for an AI assistant? And so this kind of gives examples for the AI of how to actually run through helping your users. So these are just like example use cases. The other reason I like this is when you're selling the GPT or you're creating like how to use the GPT video, these are what you tell people to do. And so if I was creating a tutorial video, I would say, all right, so if you're not quite sure where to start, you could always start by saying, hey, run step 1, and the GPT is going to put together a content calendar for you. Or if you already have an email and you're not quite sure if it's actually going to hook people in and get them reading, then you can always just type into the box, run bonus prompt for today's email, or create hooks for me. And so this is essentially a list of things you can tell your users they can type into start. And if you look, this is also gives you insight into what GPT thinks it's going to be doing based upon everything else. So if you look at any one of these and go, no, that's not what I want you to do, you can tell GPT, hey, sample C, that's not what I want to do because it's not relevant. Please come up with another idea and then tell me where in my instructions I need to change so you don't think C is relevant to our endeavors. And so this is kind of like a quick check. If you see anything here that you're like, I don't want my GPT doing that, that gives you a good idea of what might be wrong with your instructions, because these are pretty much everything we're going to be giving the GPT to run through our creating our calendar here. So I realize this is much more involved than most GPTs. This is trying to get you to that kind of 80th percentile. And then start, of course, we'll go ahead and drop this in. I'm going to go a little faster. And Think First says, better than doing everything from scratch. Where was AI when I was in grad school? Yeah, seriously. I did not go to grad school. But yeah, I think our AI is literally rewriting our brains and the world. It's crazy. then of course we probably all would have chosen different professions had we known AI was right around the corner. I know I would have. I'd be very scared if I was still an accountant, especially all the entry level positions are just going to be wiped out. It's very sad because it's kind of like one of those things where you just graduate college and everybody wants a year of experience, and you go, "That's great, but maybe I could just get that year now, and then you can keep me on." But anyway, so this is all we need. This is all we need for our GPT. So I'm going to go ahead and copy this. I'm going to jump over to creating our GPT, and I'm just going to paste it in. There is a limit to how many characters you can have here. And I'll go ahead and get rid of the extra spacing. So, and you can see here the bullets actually pulled in. It doesn't really matter for AI, but it's a lot easier to read when you come back and fix things. And so now we need to drop in our conversation starters. So I'm going to do this real quick. Just need to delete all this extra stuff to make it easier to copy and paste. And now I need the bullets gone. And I'd probably change the emojis, but that's okay. There we go. All right, so now for our conversation starters, we're gonna have build, we're gonna have hooks, we're gonna have story, CTA, and sequence. Yeah, sequence won't show up. That's okay. Of course, we could extend these a little bit to say like right from build my calendar or generate hook ideas, give me engaging story ideas, write my calls to action, something like that. So if we were going for extra credit there. So for our knowledge base, upload files. There we go. We'll go ahead and drop that in, open. And so what I did is, of course, earlier I downloaded our actual product template and I just giving it to GPT. And new actions. There's some cool advanced stuff down here. You can go ahead and leave that alone. And then, of course, for our image, I'll just say use Dolly. It should go ahead and generate it for us while I take a sip here. Let me know if you have any questions about this process. I know we went pretty in depth. Ooh, ow. All right. Wow. Well, there is our there's our image. I will say I really like that it does a good job of matching whatever the GPT is. I just tend not to like the style it chooses. So I can go ahead and click on create here, or I could test it and I could say, let's say, Think First Media. I think you're a travel, I'm a expert sales person for, wait, you were a travel agency, right? I am a top seller travel agent. Experience. Cool. So think first, travel agent and videographer. So we'd have to do two different sequences, unless you can let me know maybe there's videography for travel agents. Maybe I got that wrong. So, by the way, you've watched me build everything live. So here we go. Don't shoot me if this stinks. So we've got our 14-day travel agent coaching sequence for 14 emails over 3 weeks. And so week number 1, establish authority and build trust. Welcome your story. Share your why. Quick tip or hack. Mini success story, soft pitch. So I did say by email 4, start letting people know that you have something to offer. And so this is our week number 1. So our week number 2 is FAQ, objection. So, we're going to handle some objections, peek behind the scenes. So we're going to have you're going to use a personal story there, highlight a key benefit of working one-on-one. And so no worries, the sequence will work. I'm watching. Awesome, think first. And so then we'll highlight key benefits of working one-on-one. So you'll probably choose 1 or 2 things that you've been able to, probably something to the effect of like role-playing sales calls or creating a custom plan or something like that. Then educational resource, share a PDF video. If I was being OCD, I would go back and I would in the instructions someplace, I would say, hey, don't. I would just say change the CTA so I don't have to make another thing. You don't need to make. Once someone's on your email, I know this is bad to say, but once someone's on your email list, you don't need to make another checklist or PDF. You gave them the free lead magnet or whatever they opted in for, and just focus on making your emails freaking awesome. And no need to make new things. So week number 3, we're going to have a Mythbuster email, a case study client win, direct invite to coaching, personal story of overcoming, of course, another checklist freebie. So email 13, I would say that's terrible. That's a terrible idea. Final direct pay scarcity, urgent, last chance, apply now. So I'd give this a solid 6.5 out of 10. Obviously, there's quite a bit of work to do. It's very top level, and so the tweaks I would make here, I think, is I would need to add to the instructions, which I won't do for time purposes, but I would need to add to the instructions. Don't suggest creating more stuff. Like the AI thought it was a good idea to. The AI thought it was a good idea to tell us to create more lead magnets, and that's not something you want to do or need to do with sales. So I would have to. I'd probably have to change the Google Doc for that. But there you go. And so in this particular instance, I see we have some from Think First and Sight Unseen. I'll get to you in a moment. I'll just say yes, please, and see what it comes up with, and then we'll go ahead and stop. So here's our email number 1. It's got our welcome and thank you, our first body copy. And you can see, first off, welcome. So glad you're here. If you're reading this, chances are you're passionate about travel, but you want to turn that passion into serious income. I get it because I started exactly where you are when I first blah, 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 blah. So what's really cool is just like quickly glancing over this, like this is a solid 7 email right here. And keep in mind, all we did, the only instructions I gave it was to copy really good copywriters, right? So it's writing like a Carlton, Halbert, or Kennedy. And of course, I could be more detailed. But these three words right here, these 3 names are all it took for AI to write in the way it needed to. I didn't have to give it. I didn't have to give it examples. I didn't have to, go build a giant swipe file, which obviously would make things significantly better. But I just want to show you how quick and easy it is to just get GPT to point in the right direction. And so I'll go ahead and click on create. And when you click create, you will say anyone with a link, and then you'll go ahead and click on save. And so the way you deliver it is, of course, with today's sponsor. Yay! So you would you can create a simple checkout page like this. where you have a little, just create a little picture of the GPT, or better yet, just a 2-minute video. You don't even have to show your face. It's okay not to show your face. Just a 2-minute video, like what I just did, showing what the AI can do, how quickly it can create something that actually is usable. That's the biggest skepticism is, okay, but is this actually going to work though? And by the way, if the AI does something really bad, you just try again, right? So actually, let me do an example with a quick video. So yeah, you just have a quick little video up top. You have a couple bullet points. Of course, the series has gone through how to actually write this page in less than an hour. And awesome videos are no issue for you, think first. And then, of course, proceed to checkout. And this page is something that Go High Level can automatically set up for you. You just add and you create a simple membership website with a link to the GPT, a link to your worksheet. Go High Level automates all that for you. And then in the future, when you want to get more advanced, do I have that page up? No, I do not. And then in the future, when you want to get more advanced, you can do a full-blown sales letter, like this one. But you don't have to start here. It's really easy to just get started with a simple checkout page like this, video demo, a couple of bullet points, and that's all people need to purchase. You wouldn't charge $50 for it. You're probably going to charge, $5 to $10 for it to start using, your GPT, and Go High Level automates the delivery for you. And all you need to do inside of your membership site or email is share this link. So you copy this link, you include it in your membership site or the welcome email if you don't want to create a membership site for some reason. And then people can have it sitting in their sidebar on the left-hand side here. Here we go. So it'll show up on the left-hand side and our GPT is done. That's it. That's all there is to it. I think we build that faster than the product. Obviously, the product took the product and sales copy took longer, but if we combine the total time on streams, it took us about 90 minutes it took us about 30 minutes to come up with the offer, 60 minutes to write the sales letter, another, let's say 65 minutes to create the actual product. And now we've spent another 60 minutes creating the GPT. So we've gone from a list of ideas to one that's ready to launch and sell in less than 5 hours. So it's pretty sweet. So I'm going to go over to chat now because I see some ideas for a demo, but please let me know if you have any other questions about creating GPTs, because this is really it. And I think the legal ruling back in June is the biggest game changer because you can pretty much just copy other people's work. And as long as you're doing the curating and saying, this is the book you should follow, this is the expert or influencer you should write like, people are going to find a lot of value in that. And they're also not going to know that you just, scanned a book or something like that. Again, I realize it is a huge gray area. I'm no way, shape, or form claiming that doing that is ethical, but it is definitely legal. And that's the framework we have, because you cannot, you can't law ethics. Slippery slope there. So think first, sight unseen, who is also watching in the chat, is being too quiet. She is in the disability advocate space, especially for blind people, but she advocates for everyone. Okay, awesome. Yeah, sight unseen. If you have a little more, if you can tell me like what your offer is or what you sell, that would be awesome. Or if it's just like advocation, you're just, creating content to create awareness. That's cool too. Then we could create, let's say we could do a 7-day sequence, explaining how people can get involved, helping those who are blind or with disabilities. Right. So, you could create some sort of lead magnet, give back. There's an idea there. Give back something, and then a 7-day sequence explaining to people how they can give back and make an impact in those disability communities. So that would be cool, but only if you want. It's okay, no pressure. We are live. So sight unseen is a great live instruction. Thank you so much. And of course, think first that videos are no problem. So again, when it comes to actually selling this thing, you do need a system to sell it. So if you're not using Go High Level, you're going to need to use something in order to collect the payments and then actually send them the link to this GPT. Now, of course, there are two big issues here. So, of course, the first that I do want to address is, yes, once you send them the link, they have it, and so if they want a refund, they're still going to have the GPT. You can't take it back. That's true for all digital products. It kind of stinks. That's one of the advantages of creating your own software. But the cost, I'll tell you, the cost between what we just did and creating a basic software where you can lock all your prompts away is about $3K. You can go over to Bubble. You can create your own, Bubble has it's called Casper Clone. You can go ahead and look it up. But it'll cost you about $3,000 to get it all up and running. So when I compare, $3,000 to create and manage my own application, versus I gave up $15K in, by the way. So I actually did this, wasted a lot of money. So when I compare like creating your own application to simply just creating a GPT on ChatGPT's platform already, and you're going to deal with maybe 1 out of 20 people abuse it and ask for a refund and just keep your GPT, you're still going to be money and time and effort ahead. You saw how quick and easy it was to put this together. And of course, what's also really cool is you can put these together relatively quickly, and then you just improve the ones that actually sell, right? So as an example, like on the left-hand side here, I had, and by the way, I'm kind of stalling to see if there's any questions or Sight Unseen wants to tell me a little bit more about her venture or endeavor. So for example, this sales servant is our full-blown most advanced sales letter. So if you ever wonder how, like I put together these long form sales letters like this, it's using our advanced template. And so it was years in the making, and I created a GPT to essentially write out the whole thing. But for most people who are just getting started, that's overkill. So I went ahead and created a much smaller version, the 1-page sales letter, that's more like, if this guy will load, that's much shorter, more like this guy, where it's just kind of 1 page. And you can even go shorter than this, right? And so as you can see, stop talking. Sometimes I like playing a game like, which country was I in when I made this one? I seriously don't remember. I'm trying to remember the chair. It looks like the one I have now. But anyway, what's cool is you can, of course, go around, tell them a little bit more. Yeah. Okay, think first. You're pushing her. What's cool is you can make a basic GPT like the one we just, I lost it. Like the one we just made, my GPTs. And then if it sells well, you can make a more advanced version. And it's just one of those things where you don't know what people really want until you go to market and sell. And so that's why it's so important to make these super quick and fast. And also, the other cool thing is like this email planner, easily $4.95, right? This is a $4.95 offer. We probably need to do like a 10-minute max demo. But then if we do this for $4.95, and then all of a sudden we say, hey, for let's say $2.95 order bump, get the GPT along with it. All of a sudden, we're taking a $5 offer and we're making it $7. Actually, you might play with the pricing. We should be able to get this to $10. So you might do $5. Yeah, $4.95 for the template itself, and then maybe the order bump is actually $6.95 for the GPT, something like that. So we get we still have that entry level price point of just $5 for the template. But if people want, they can also get the GPT for another $6. And so that way we can still get people in the door. We have that, hey, this is only $5, but for $6 more, you can get the GPT. And if I was doing a demo video, I would show both. I would say, hey, here's how you can use the 30-day email profit planner, all good to go. And the key here that's really cool is we have the prompts in here. So if someone only wants to spend $5, they can do it. They can copy paste these prompts by themselves. But in your demo video, you can say, you can essentially say, hey, for just $4.95, or don't say the price in the video. Sorry, never say the price in the video. I forgot about that. But you can essentially, apologies. Let me take a break because I'm talking over myself and I'm getting too excited. Okay. You see the behind the scenes of recording. My editors, my wife slash editor always tells me you talk way too fast, slow down. So in the demo video for this new offer, I would start off the first 90 seconds. I would only show this email template. I would say you have basic, and I wouldn't go through all this wall of text. I would start the screen capture here. And so that way the preview, kind of like how you saw on this sales, so kind of like how you saw here, I start with what I want people to see first, even if it's in the middle of the product. And so I would start the sales video just like you're seeing now. Say, hey, super excited to share this 30-day promotion calendar with you and prompt packed to help you with your email promotions, whether you're just getting started or you have a ton of products and services and you just can't seem to get your emails to convert. Here's how it works. All you need to do is scroll down here and you'll see we have a list of 30 ready to go templates and email ideas for you. You can use with AI to craft and mold to your own niche or industry. Pick your promotion timeline, whether you want to do a full 30 days, 7-day sprint, or a 14-day launch. All you need to do is fill in the calendar with the ideas and concepts below. And we even have these cool drop-down menus so you can choose and tell AI how you want it to behave. And then what's great is once you've made your selections, all you have to do is come up here, File, and download as a Word doc, and you upload this entire document straight into AI. All the prompts are already written in here for you, and then you just tell AI to start writing the different emails for you. Here's how it works. And then I would go through a real quick demo. I would already have it downloaded, and I would do like a demo and say, hey, in the demo I would say, hey, write my email for 8/27, right? And then I would go over to AI, it would write my email for 8/27, and I would say, this is how easy it is to create your promotions from scratch. And by the way, if you want to even go faster and actually start copying the email templates that I personally use, as an optional upgrade, you can grab access to our 30-day email profit planner, GPT. Now, this one is even more blah, 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 blah. And in less than 3 minutes, you're done, right? So obviously I did that off the top of my head, so probably need to workshop that quite a bit. But you can see how that would be the pitch for our offer. And you can blur. Think First Media is also pointing out, yes, you can blur parts of the video to keep people from stealing it. So, excuse me. Let's see. I'm going a little long here, but hopefully, let me know if that was helpful. That's kind of how I would pitch these two. So I would actually probably at the start not have them together. I would have one is $4.95 just for the template, and then this GPT would be another $6, and that would get our average transaction value around $9. I think my top of head math is not very good, but you do have to remember that you're paying Stripe 30 cents plus 2.9%, and so adding that $6.95 instead of just doing $6 just covers your processing fees. So there you go. So you essentially double your average transaction value. You go from $5 to almost 10 by just adding this GPT as a potential add-on to the offer. And I would make it an order bump because that's just going to help people get in the door faster with your $5 offer. And so then we'll go ahead and I will do an example for sight unseen, and then we'll go ahead and call it a day, because the toll these daily videos is taking on me is quite large. So please give me a moment. My wife is super into Harry Potter, so I got the Slytherin mug because I like green. I know they're supposed to be the bad guys, but green's my favorite color, so not red. So here we go. Sight Unseen says she offers training and consulting for employers on their hiring practices when it comes to hiring people with disabilities. Oh, okay. And then she also helps people deal with their employment biases against people with disabilities, especially people who are blind. Okay. That is probably the most challenging I've seen. So here's what I'm going to do. Here we go. I'm just going to come over to, here we go. I'm going to paste in your words verbatim, and then I'm going to try and add some context here. You're not making it easy for me, but that's okay. That's what this is all about. Jason looks silly while he tries to figure things out on the fly. Okay. So offer is training. I'd like to do a 7-day sequence to promote my, I don't know if you do it virtually or in-house, promote my training. I'm just going to say my training for employers. Okay, so I have very little context, but this is what I would, I'll start with the do virtual and in person. Okay, cool. Manage the blind, advantages. The training can be virtual or in person. Yes, I can spell when I'm not nervously typing on a live stream. So here we go. And again, this is what we just created, so hopefully it's good. So we're going to do a 7-day promo sequence to essentially sell the virtual or in-person training. And again, this is just kind of showcasing the product we've built live and how it actually can work out of the box. So this does assume that you've offered something for free, some sort of lead magnet guide or PDF. So you would go ahead and deliver that. And of course, angle, you'd share your mission, why you're passionate about inclusive hiring and what employers gain. I think that would be a big one. Kind of what's the benefit? And then share your why, tell your personal story, why you started helping employers overcome biases, especially around blindness. So this one, I would have to be biases. I wouldn't use bias at all in my emails around this, because you too easily run the risk of calling your potential customer bias. And so instead of saying bias, I would say misgivings or hesitations or concerns. So that way you validate their bias, right? Because I'll raise my hand and say if someone came to me and said, "Hey, I want to work for you, but I'm blind," I would be very apprehensive. I would be nervous. So nervous, apprehensive, misgivings, or the words I said before, but definitely do not use the word bias. So then we have a quick tip, education, share one powerful practical tip on interviewing or supporting blind employees that employers can implement immediately. I think your main since I don't know how laws work or kickback or those programs employers can go through to potentially get additional government support or something like that for employing those with disabilities. I think that would probably, if you can find some sort of financial benefit to the employer, that would be something that I would definitely want to recommend. So I'd say, find a financial benefit, as big or small as it is, because at the end of the day, business owners like making money. And then, of course, number two, the advantage of the work ethic of those who are blind or with some sort of other disability, right? Because someone who presumably they might be. I'm not going to say that. This is YouTube. I'm not going to say that. So anyway, just if there's advantages in terms of work ethic or attitude in those with disabilities, and then of course the financial benefit as well. Sorry, I gotta remember that we're not doing a. If you join the membership site, I can be a lot more honest. So let's see, and then day number 4, show a story of success. Day number 5, overcome hesitation. Hesitation's a good one. And then highlight a key benefit, and then direct pitch urgency. And so you can see here that we've got our simple 7-day sequence. And of course, you would want to insert your own stories. And of course, you can actually say, like, let's say day 2, education. Let's say day number 2 here. And then we're going to wrap up because my voice is about to die. So if you have any other questions, please let me know. I seriously hope you guys are finding value in this, and I'd love to see you inside of the membership site because we can go a lot deeper. There's ideas I can present. And I won't be as apprehensive, blasting them across YouTube. So for this one, I would ask, please give me ideas on actual benefits to employers. I'm in Ohio, USA. And so if you ever, if AI gives you an idea and you're like, I'm not sure what I would do here, just ask it to come up with ideas. So yes, there you go. Oh yeah, tax credits. Yeah, scream that from the rooftops all day. Talent pool expansion, employee loyalty and retention, higher retention rates. That's huge. See, there you go. They're the two. Okay, they're the two. So there's tax benefits and higher retention rates, right? Those two in and of themselves are pretty big. Are pretty big wins. And then Ohioans' disabilities. Of course, I'm not familiar with all that, but you probably are, and that would be that would be where I'd go from there with that particular idea. But again, I just wanted to use some actual people's niches as an example of using this GPT that we literally just built. And so I'll actually, can I share here? Share. I got to do this. If I don't do this now, create link. Okay, copied. If I don't do this now, I won't do it. But now the GPT is now live inside of the membership site. So here we go. GPT link. There we go. So if you join the membership, it's all in here. You can literally copy the calendar and you can grab access to the GPT right there. So let me jump over to chat here. I'm going to go live full screen as we wrap up. And let's see. Right. And look at the chat one more time. Sight unseen. You do virtual events. Point taken on the bias. Yeah. Understood. Appreciate the advice. Thank you. Okay, cool. Whew. So that does it for today, where we're talking pretty much how you can create a GPT. Tomorrow is going to be all about pricing. So I realize there's a lot to kind of unpack and figure out with how much should we be charging. Obviously on the fly, I was like, charge $5 here and $6 there because transaction fees and whatnot. So tomorrow we'll go through pricing and positioning, and we're 2 days away from being done with this 30-day challenge. And of course, if you have any questions, you can always drop them in the comments below. And do check out the link at the top of the chat and the top of the description to check out Go High Level for 30 days and get access to our private membership site where you can ask me questions directly. I can give you more taboo style angles for your emails that are not YouTube safe. And then, of course, all the templates and whatnot are in there as well. So I just want to say thank you so much to all of you who are watching. Even if you're not commenting, just seeing the live viewer count there it does make a world of difference. And so thank you again to Go High Level for sponsoring. Thank you, Think First and Sight Unseen, for engaging today. All of you who are tuning in the background, not engaging. So I will see you tomorrow for pricing and positioning, and then we'll wrap up with actually delivering the offer and building the membership site and some basic automation. So until the next, till tomorrow, keep building the business you love.